Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to talk about rigging up a Texas rig on both a creature bait and on this guy, a rubber worm. Uh, doesn't matter what kind of worm it is, any size worm, whatever. The longer the worm, the bigger the hook you want to use, so you get that hook barb down further down into the fish's mouth when they eat it. So if you're getting short strikes, you don't want to use a little tiny hook. This one's probably even a little bit small for this worm, but that's okay. This is for demonstration purposes. So we're going to start with, we're going to pretend that this is your main line, and I will have links to everything down below in the description. These are little screw-on weights. This is what I like to use instead of a bobber stopper. Instead of a bobber stopper or whatever rubber stopper. I like using these guys. And this is 3/16 of an ounce, I believe, or maybe a quarter. Usually I go with 3/16 is what I really like. Anyway, so that's going to go on your main line, and you're just going to let that hang out. Then, personally, I like to use a Palomar knot on the hook. So Palomar knot's super simple, and it's one of the strongest knots there is, supposedly. All depends on who you ask. Every bass fisherman has their own knot they think is the strongest. So you make a loop like that. Then you got that hook just hanging on that loop, woo, woo, like that. And you have to make the sound effects for validity. Then you run that over the point end of the hook, the loop over the point end. You cinch it down tight. Usually I would wet it, but that's fine. Cut off your tag end. Like so. Now, what I like to do is I like to cut just a little bit off the end of the worm to make it flat on the end. And you can bite it off or use your fingernails or whatever. But I just happen to have a pocket knife here, so that's what I'm using. Cutting a little bit off that worm. That's not perfectly square, but it doesn't matter. And then what I like to do is make sure I'm right in the center. And there's no real reason on this particular worm to have it set up any like this way up or down or whatever. So it just has a little squiggly swim tail on the end. And this is a 4/0 Eagle Claw extra wide gap, heavy wire. You run it through like that. And I like to run, I want to have a little bit of this rubber sticking past the end of this notch, so I have something to screw my weight into. So I'll run that all the way through. And then there's different ways you can do it. If you are in a super weedy situation with a lot of logs and stuff, you can take it. What I do is I'll pinch it right about where I want the barb to go in, because you definitely want it to go on there straight. You can do it like this for semi-weedless and just skin hook it like that. Or for super weedy situations, you're going to want to run it right in to the center of the worm. And in super bad situations, I'd probably more use a flipping hook instead of an EWG hook. So just like that. Then you slide this little weight with the screw rig down like that. You take him and you turn him on there like that. And now it's pegged. It can't slide anymore. And it's perfect. Swims through the weeds nice, logs, whatever. You can throw it in just about any kind of cover that you want. And fish come up and grab it, and you jerk, and it pulls that hook through the worm and penetrates the fish and works really good. Be a line watcher. I like to throw it out, let it sink down to the bottom, almost like I'm just still fishing, and watch the line as it lays on the water. And if it starts wiggling around, you know a fish has got it. So, and then we're also going to show how to rig a creature bait Texas rig, which is basically the same thing. We're going to take this hook off because we're going to tie on a smaller hook. Oh, this hook might work for one of these. And this is one of my favorite creature baits. It's a little Reaction Innovations Smalley Beaver. Green pumpkin with chartreuse tips on the tail. You can open up the tips like that and it does its thing. Get rid of that guy. Will this guy even go on this hook? No, this hook's way too big. So we're going to get rid of this hook. Open up my little terminal tackle box, which I believe has some more. Yeah. Nope. Huh, I thought I had light wire. Huh, I don't see any. All right, I gotta go grab a hook. Okay, guys, I am back with the proper size, hopefully, hook. Let's try this one. Let's see. Yeah, that leaves enough. And maybe smaller. Yeah, we're going to use this little guy right here. Let's see if I have one in between. It's the same size. Yeah, we're going to go with this little guy right here. So, same thing. You're going to put your little spinneroonie lid on there with the spring deal for screwing it into the tip of the bait. We're going to Palomar knot this little hook on here. And this is a light wire, more of a finesse rig, finesse type fishing. I know it sounds weird to use creature bait and finesse fishing don't often go together if you live like in Florida or something where they use 1 ounce leads and they're punching through heavy cover, and or down on the bayou in San Francisco or whatever. But up here in the Pacific Northwest, where you don't really run into like 9 and 10 pound bass very often, it's mostly a finesse show. So you're going to see that a lot of the baits that I use are kind of small. All right. And this one, I'm not going to pinch the tip off of like I did with the worm. Anyway, so obviously either way is up, but we want to definitely go up with it. Gonna sneak that in there a little ways. Bring it on through, bring it out. And the nice thing about these beavers is they got this little groove right here, which works like a weed guard. And it's super important that on these beavers that you get them set straight. Just like that. Fish can come up and grab it, and that's weedless and what have you. And if you get your barb right in there, like that, fish grabs it, bends it, still gets the hook. Then you screw in Nice and straight in the center. Just like that. And you have a Texas rig creature bait. And this one is, like I said, a beaver. So, beaver style. And there's all different kinds you can use. But anyway, and that's how you rig that. So, there you go. Please remember to like and to subscribe and to follow. And Friday nights will be live fishy talk, live feed. This Friday in particular, I don't know if this video will come out in that time, but we'll be doing a giveaway. What else? Yeah, follow along, like, subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you get notified when I put a video up. I try to put out videos every single day right now anyway while I can. And I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.